Assalamu alaikum. I am Rahimuddin. So today we'll be starting our workshop on your Internet of Things. So I'll be uploading the videos regarding our workshop on various topics. Today is our first topic on your introduction to Internet of Things, and we'll be discussing more on the electrical point of view of your Internet of Things. I know you might know this Internet of Things are quite more related to your computer science and your electronics side, but this has a major part or major application on electrical side also. So this area I'll be extracting more contents that are related to our electrical side, and how we can change our way of thinking from your hardcore machine, and how we can communicate with those hardcore machine using our internet. Okay, so how we can connect it with it. So I think it's a bit late, but still I have planned to interact you physically, but because of the situation we are not able to see further when we are going to have a physical interaction. So by that time, if once we get to ready, we'll go for our hands-on. But by that time we can finish off our introduction part. Okay, so let's start it. Okay, so first we'll be demystifying IoT. What is our Internet of Things means? So there are different companies and different stakeholders, like your, as a simple example, if you don't know what is stakeholders, like there is a platform called Arduino. Okay, there is another platform called Raspberry Pi. So we'll be talking about that in next in the upcoming slides. But these two platforms, or simply if you take, there is a company, there is a Samsung company, there is a Nokia, there is a Vivo, then Oppo. So there are different companies are there. So in each company, the same name that is in Internet of Things which we are talking about, they might be referring it as a web of things, or machine to machine, then big data, then cyber physical system. So overall I can say that this Internet of Things is not only a term that it's not a no, not it does not have that term. There are different terms which mean Internet of Things, which is equivalent to Internet of Things. Okay, so there are different terms that can identify you as Internet of Things. So different companies have different terminologies to say or to identify that same Internet of Things. So basically, what is an Internet of Things? So as you can see here, there are three words, that is your internet, then off, and a thing. Okay, so in these three words, if you particularly say that there are on specifically, there is an internet and there is a things. Okay, so in all the three words, if you check, there is nowhere a human interference. Okay, there is nowhere a human presence, can you can say. So this whole thing is a non-human governed thing. So the first term is a non-operation of humans in your internet of things. So you can say uh, an assembly of things where no human interference is there. Just like your mobile phone is giving you the weather conditions, or weather conditions of your area, of your location, just by knowing the GPS location of your mobile phone. It can give you, or it can predict the weather condition of your next day, or of the present day. Okay, whether you travel from any place to anywhere, whether you travel from Kashmir to Delhi, Delhi to Patna, everywhere, it will change accordingly. It knows that wherever you go, your mobile phone knows it. So that mobile phone does not have any human presence, or you don't click any button to say that I am in Patna or I am in Delhi. It knows it and it gives you the data regarding the temperature of that area. So there is no human presence. Or a next example, you can say that, so if there is a converter, okay, or you can say that the electric vehicle is there, and that electric vehicle is running on an inverter, right? And you have to we have a battery, then we convert that battery power to your AC power, and then AC power we give it to the induction motor. Okay, so this induction motor rotates and then it goes on. So this electric vehicle, suppose the speed varies and the torque varies. If the load varies on the AC side, AC side, if the load varies, and automatically, if your switching is varying and it don't have any interference, so it. You can say that it is it does not have any human interference. Okay, so this is your non-operation of human. Okay, next is your though there in your electric vehicle or inverter case, which we have discussed here, we don't have any internet. We are just talking about the presence of human. So that electric vehicle just operates that electric vehicle has an inbuilt technology that it analyzes the torque, it analyzes the speed, and it changes your switching cycle, also switching t on and t off time of the cycle. Okay, so in the same way, so there is no human presence. Next is your things. So what this things is, next, the same example, the electric vehicles. If you are considering an electric vehicles, so we don't want any human presence. So what it does, what things it carries, so that it can change the switching cycle or switching frequency, the T on time and T off time of the switches, MOSFET or IGBT. What it does, it senses which quantity. So it senses the speed or the torque, and then it gives back the feedback. So these sensors, or this sensor is the things, okay, that acts as a feedback and that govern the whole system. So this things are generally referred to the overall, if you see, the study of sensors, actuators, and controllers. Okay, so sensor, actuators, and controller, here the things means. Next is the connection. Now the connection is refers to what? Now this connection can be your wireless connection, and there can be a wired connection. Just like if you are talking about an electric vehicle, the sensor gives the feedback to the controller or to the board. You can say here, assume it as a board of Arduino board, simply an Arduino board. This sensor sends back the signal to your Arduino board, and that signal is sent through, you can say, you can use a wire, okay, wiring system. So it's the sensor is connected to your Arduino board by using a data cables, or you can say your wiring system. Now this connection can be done by a wireless system also, like your Bluetooth devices, like your Wi-Fi devices. Okay, so like your modern devices, model. So these wireless connections where the sensors sends data to the connector. So that is the one of the other component of our Internet of Things. So Internet of Things, which things you will say it as an Internet of Things? Yeah, so those things which does not have any human presence or human governance, you can say. And the next is things is those things that are there to actually sense the thing, sense or actuates or control. Okay, next is your those things that can communicate the whole scenario, that is the connection. Okay, so according to Wikipedia, Wikipedia defines the Internet of Things that the Internet of Things is refers to the uniquely identifiable objects and their virtual representation in an internet like structure. Okay, the concept of Internet thing was first became popular through the Auto ID Center at MIT and related market analysis publication. Okay, so MIT is the first university that identified this internet, and there was a lot of talks on this. Okay, so on comparative study, if I give you one example, like in your health sector, if you look around, in the present scenario also, you might have heard about this uh, reading the pulse or a BP, blood pressure, and reading the blood pressure of a patient. So previously there was a machine which having a bag of, or having a balloon where we have to press it, and then the air is sent into that into your the into the you can say that the connection which we give it, the what you can say that the band which we put it in the arms or the near about the artery. So that artery or that band is filled with air, and by human pressure, biometric pressure creating machine, and then that fills it, and the person or the doctor used to hear about the lub and dub sound from that artery position, and then it detects your BP, blood pressure. But right now there is an advancement in your health sector. You might have seen that BP machine. It directly sets it directly sets the you have to just place the artery or the band in the arms, and then there is a motor inside the motor. That motor sends or pumps in the air, and this there is already a sensor located on the band, and it notes the lub and the dub part, and then it gives you the digital way of in the digital form the BP. Okay, here also if you see here the this is a closed path, like first the motor runs, and it supplies the air to the band in a controlled amount, and that controlled amount is already prefixed. The motor runs for a particular period. Okay, so once you switch on, it will run for somewhere around 10 to 15 seconds or somewhere. Okay, then it runs it and then gets stopped. So the motor knows that mm, it has given the full amount of air. Now uh, once the air is filled, the the sensor just note down just is ready to note down the lub and the dub sound. Okay, so if you think about the technology, you don't think that the motor, how the motor will analyze how much air is pumped in. The motor has a fixed number of rotation. Okay, so there is no sensor to detect the pressure of air inside the arm band. Okay, there is no sensor. The motor runs has a fixed rotation, and then it goes to that. Okay, so there is just one sensor that you can say that the audio sensor, and that detects your this you can say the band the pressure it detects the sound of that, and then it signify you the blood pressure. Now there is one more device that has become famous, that is your pulse oximeter. Okay, so this pulse oximeter sends out a ray. Okay, and it detects the amount of oxygen content in the blood. Okay, so this COVID this disease, what it does, that it makes your the oxygen content in the blood or oxygen content in the body, it lowers the oxygen content. Okay, so this pulse oximeter keeps on detecting the oxygen content of the blood, so by sending the rays at a particular frequency. Okay, that is the nature. So this ray is one of a sensor, and then it notes the content of air, content of oxygen, and then it gives you the particular amount. So this is the way your IoT right now is tackling this disease. I hope I have clarified this IoT of things. Let's look at our next slide. There is a company called Mario Morales, and this company generally deals with your technology or new technologies and or your semiconductor devices. So it deals with the uh, different upcoming technologies or new research way in IoTs, and they have done some survey, and they have collected that till 2020 there are 4 billion people are connected with each other on any platform, like there is Facebook or Twitter, or I can say that Google you can say till now Google Classroom is got famous. Okay, so that connected people are have got connected each other with 4 billion people. So there this internet of things has a revenue of $4 trillion. Okay, so there are a lot of apps. So 2 million apps are there. Okay, and then there is an embedded technologies systems are there. So overall we will be using this, what this app does. Okay, this apps. So particularly if you go to the Play Store, or there you have lot of apps regarding games, regarding your fitness, regarding your what you can say, healthy eating devices. They will notify you regarding your religious aspects also. They will notify you the particular timing of the namaz timing. Okay, so these apps, they have a connection with a particular place. Okay, they know your way of living, and they know your location. They know your way of what you can say, what you are posting onto a site. So this internet of things has a connection, like they know everything from your right now. If you see the new mobile phones, they will tell you how much steps you walk. Okay, so this much amount of steps you walk, so they will be regularly identifying you, giving you a message that these are amount of steps you have walked. So they will be giving you a data regarding your this software. There are some software you will use it, and you will just have a storage of it, and you won't use it for the future. So they will be telling you that you haven't used this software, so you can remove this software. Now there is a technology on that, that they know that if you click a person's face, they can identify the image recognition, and they will search from the internet, and they will name them, that whether this person is recognizable or not. So this is one of your feature of your internet of things. Okay, so these are the technologies. You can say these are one of your examples on your mobile phones that are enabling you the scenario. Okay, the next part is the embedded technologies. Okay, so this embedded technology and intelligent system. So you might have heard this embedded technology is simply about your software part, or you can say that the boards which you are using, the Arduino softwares which are supported in your Arduino boards, those are the embedded technology, you can say. But what is intelligent system? Okay, now a common example, if you see here, there is uh, there are one of the feature that comes in your Facebook that has given you a privacy regarding the profile of yours. Okay, so if you put it as a lock system, there is a, in the setting, in the Facebook setting, if you lock it, so even the person will not see your profile, which how many friends you have, what is your what there is a section in abouts. Okay, the person will never see it. But if you have ever tried it, if you just go and see the logged Facebook profile and try to have a screenshot of it, you will not be able to take that screenshot. Okay, so if you haven't tried it, you just go for it, and that is what intelligent system means. So that person, that mobile or that embedded system knows that if there is a logged thing is there on Facebook, they so you can't able to have that feature of your snapshot. You can't take the pictures of that. Okay, so that is one of the this intelligent system examples are there. This is the best feature I have liked in the recent way. Okay, next is your this uh, data. Now, as you know that you might have got a mail from your Gmail account regarding that they are going to uh, they are going to dump your trash thing, and they have given you so 2 GB or 5 GB data, 5 GB space to upload your things onto the internet. And once if you that is a drive, okay, in the drive. So if like when we are uploading our videos onto the YouTube accounts, it takes the space of our drive. Okay, so this GB data, or this GB data is enabled from us from the internet. Okay, so this whole scenario, the major perspective is the connection of the people. Okay, then the apps which we are using, and the system which is inbuilt, and this data. So data, for an example of data also, if you see, if you are transferring if you are transferring the contact details, you better take a snapshot and you just send it to the other person. You better take a photo. So there is but if you look around in the previous if you go for 3G, when we have 3G systems or 2G systems, that time the buffering was there, and to send a video to a person, so that time it was very difficult to send our videos or image also. But now the image and videos can be easily sent, and that are far more convenient for us than writing something. So what it does is, if you check about the security systems, if you see the security system, now the security system is been like has been connected to the internet, and the person can see the security of through a webcam. Now that webcam is transferring a lot of data to the internet, where it is sending, it is actually sending it to the Gmail account, and then from the Gmail account the person can access that data. So that is the way of transferring a data, or that sensor or that camera can send it to their own site, okay, their own platform, where they have given the account number and the password to that specified person, so that he can log in and he can check it out, the details of the snapshot of their home. So that is what the internet of things is working here. So it is giving your, and first of all, in the previous statement earlier, I have stated that no human interaction are there. It is sending data to the internet platform, and the sensors are sensing the data. Sensors are seeing the things, and then it is sending to the internet, and the person, the which the needy person, which he can see directly from the net. So this is the whole scenario of our internet of things. Okay, this slide discuss about your where the internet of thing is applied. Okay, so here you can see here that the major area of application is your banking and security area. So internet of things are more applied or utilized in your banking sectors, then healthcare, and then the manufacturing. So these areas are the major area that takes the most advantage or more advantage of internet of things. Like banking sectors, if you see the banks or the private banks, how they're opening the account. Now there is no old methods like you have to go to the banks with a photo, we have to fill the form, and then we have to tell them, we have to give the sign. Now if you are a premium customer, they will come to your home, they'll take a tab, they'll take a snapshot of your photo, and they will do they will do each and everything okay, on in your home, and they within 15 to 20 minutes you will get a bank account. Okay, so that is the possibility of internet of things. Like if this the person goes to the home, and then they take the snapshot, and then it sends the data to the banking site, and then it uploads the data there directly there. Yeah, so okay, so there is less consumptions of paperwork also. Now the health sector is simply like if you want to if an old woman is there, and a person and he has to send the health data to his doctor without becoming interact the doctor don't want to interact with the needy person, or you can say that unhealthy person. So you just have to take data of your blood pressure, or you can say that the uh, pulse oximeter, and those data can be uploaded to the internet, and from there the doctor can see it. Okay, so that is the healthcare sectors they are using it. Manufacturing industries, now the manufacturing industries complete you can go for your this various amount of motors are running on different mode. Okay, so controlling that mode, but by sitting outside, you have to control your motor using your wi-fi technologies or using your bluetooth devices. Can you do it? So there are technologies that is working on, like if you check around your fitness uh, this treadmill. If you see if you ever seen the treadmill, you just see that treadmill, there is a program uploaded. You can upload the program, you can just program for first person, program for second person, program for third person. So that program one can is it for the person who is going to run on it is of the age from 30 to 30 40. So that require a high speed. So that will if you just push a button of program 1, so that automatically will run at that speed. Now if an old person is going to walk on the treadmill, so you just set the modes of program 2, that it will the old person will come, and that it will slow the speed accordingly. Okay, so this is the difference way of you can say way utilizing a drive system, this motor drive system. You can just feed the program, and you can use that thing. Okay, so these are the areas where you can see the applications. Now here we will be discussing about your example of evolution of your internet of things, how the evolution comes in your internet of things. Now if you check around the initial car, the if you go about somewhere 2008 time, around 2000, There was a simple car. The car, you can consider it as a thing which does not have any special features, like simply mechanical drive. Mechanical systems are there. You can start a system. There is an electrical system where you can have a lighting systems. There is a cassettes are there. You can hear the music, and it goes on. So that is a simple example of your a, a simple example of a car. But then comes, there is a connected things. Now this connected things means what? Now the car got connected to a GPS system. Okay, now the car got connected to the phone call system. Okay, so the Bluetooth phone call systems. Now the car, there is an advancement. So this car is got connected to the car can send signal to the GPS system, and it can detect the direction. Now then this car can able to download things. Okay, download things from the internet. So this then comes the things and the internet have got the relation. But here, if you see, still the internet is on the secondary side. Things is still an important part. Okay, next is, now if you see what is download means, the thing is taking something from the internet. Okay, internet is not taking something from it. Now here, if you comes to the internet of things, what it does, it has a coexist. Car can give things to the internet, car can take things from the internet. So here, first, the autonomous vehicle drives less system. So if you, the car has independency, it can drive itself, it can know the path, it can know where it has, where the traffics are, which thing is coming in front of him, or at the back of him. It knows everything and it drives accordingly. Next is, your car can detect the traffic congestion, and then it can change the path, and it can take the bypass route, and then it can goes. Okay, so the car can itself detect the problems inside, whether there is going to a puncture, whether there is a on the road, there is a problems on the road, whether the road is not good. The car can adjust its soccer level. Car can go up and down. So it depends. So it's the whole scenario. Now the car has an independency with your internet. So this is the evolution of your all system. I hope it's clear now. So this is the IoT stack. Here, generally, what are the options, or from where the IoT designs starts? Okay, so Internet of Things, as I have already told you, that things refers to your sensors and the internet, and your connection, connectivity. Okay, so here, first, whatever the area can be, whichever area, whether it is an agricultural field, whether it is an banking sectors, whether it is an transportation area, you have to first start with sensors. Okay, so this sensor, it can be anything. For the security purpose, you have to choose your camera, for your driving your and this robots. So you can use the joysticks. Okay, so from or you're driving your car without any interference of human presence there, you have to use the joysticks. In the agricultural field, there are sensors, soil sensors, that senses the humidity and then sends the single signal to the device, signals to the other things. Next is your, what devices actually you are going to use. Okay, that means these sensors can be send and then can be accumulated at some place, and that is your embedded technologies. Okay, so after the sensor you need to choose some boards or some connected devices that can sense those signal and then can inform you in a digital form, like I have told you about the blood pressure machine detector, or like your and this pulse oximeter detector. It shows the it gives you your this answer, or gives you your range in a screen. So it has an OLED screen, and it shows you the answer. So that this sensor is your input at the verge of your input device, and this device is at the these two are the extreme ends of your internet of IoT. Okay, next is you need to you need a connectivity. Okay, you need a connectivity between your sensors and your devices. So there must be, these are the options that have connectivity. So like here you can see this Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, these are modem, antennas are there. Then these are your cables here. Okay, these are your fiber cables. So right now the technologies goes to fiber cables, like your this this 4G technology is there. So they 5G technologies, they are planning more they have a planning of more fast fiber cables for transmitting your data. So next is your, this is the connectivity purpose. Okay, so this is the connectivity purpose. Next is the on which protocol actually, if you are sending a data, if you are receiving a data, must be, there must be any rules. Okay, so at what time, and the rules is simply, if you check around 8085 or 8051, there we can use our data. There are two lines, if you remember, a data line and your address line. Okay, so this data and address line can work, the same wire can work as a data line, or the same wire can work as a now this address lines also. But it depends uh, on the and you can say that the voltage level of whether the signal is 0 or 1. Once the signal is 0, it can be used as an address line, but once the signal is get to the 1 level, it has to be used as a data line. So that is the protocol, and there are other protocols also. This is a simple protocols on your I have told you about your 8051 relatively. So this is these are the protocols which can be used, or platforms, protocols and platforms which can be used. So this MQTT is the most common platform that are used for your signal sending or signals. Okay, so here the LTE, VoLTE, you have seen this thing in your mobile phone. So 4G VoLTE comes into there, and then only you have to put your SIM in the first place. Then only you will get 4G LTE. Uh, okay, so this is the platform we need to work out. Next is the cloud computing or the big data analysis. Like we need to store some information for future uses. We need to have a space. Okay, like we want to analyze the data, or we are reading the data of weather condition, weather of any place. So sensors will note down the data, and it will send the signal, send the data to a particular place, or in where the data can be stored. So these platforms like Amazon Web Service, Oracle, IBM, these are the platforms that provide you this and these are the sites that provide you your big data or analysis for storing data. And then for future users, you can use what is the average value, what is the RMS value, what is the nature of your extracting features of your of those data is the work of these companies, Microsoft's. Okay, so that is the more importance of this type. Next is your solution, IoT based solution. So there will be, if you are combining these things, you will get, if you are combining these things, you will then be involved in this part. That is your, as I have already told you, that there are different field from where you can where you will be using these platforms for it, for the operation, like smart home, smart business, smart buildings. So what does smart home means? Simply, a smart home, the total consumption of electricity must total requirement of electricity must be completed by its own generated electricity. So a house, if it can able to generate the electricity, and it can consume whatever the required amount of electricity is it consumes, so it does not take any electricity from outside. So that is one of the example of smart home. So how you can do it? You can place a solar panel, you can extract energy, you can store it. Okay, you can first you need to know the requirement of your electricity in a house consumption, and then you can accordingly you can place the solar panels, and then accordingly you can store the charge in the battery, and then accordingly you can use in an inverted form to yourself. Okay, so these are the whole scenario. Smart business, then your protection wave, if you are talking. So now this term smart education is going on right now. So this smart education means we are using the space of a Google platform and uploading our radio, and so that you can use it. Okay, so this smart education is one of the area. Okay, I hope this slide is cleared. Okay, till now we have discussed various areas, various way of our IoT applications, and till now we have, I hope till now you might have know what is an IoT. Now on the starting scale, I will say that the basic start of your Internet of Things, we need a platform, or we need a microcontroller, and we people have fixed ourselves to the basic microcontroller, either 8085, 8051. That is the microcontroller we used to read in our syllabus. But uh, in this platform we will be using some examples. We'll be doing, or we'll be doing hands-on on your Arduino. Okay, and we'll be discussing these are the, and we'll be telling you the difference of your Raspberry Pi and Arduino. You might be using lot of Arduino projects are there, and people either go out and people go to the market and buy the project, and those projects contain your Arduino. So this but they don't know the inbuilt, or they don't know the programming part of Arduino. Okay, so there is a connectivity of Arduino with MATLAB. So you can use the blocks of the MATLAB which we use, and then you can upload that blocks onto the Arduino. Okay, so you can use, other than the Arduino. I know most of you know about it as you just have to click the Arduino page, and Arduino website. You have to download the Arduino, and then you have to click the Arduino and this site link, and this open the Arduino software, and then you have to put the program there, and then you go for the uploading part. But uh, this Arduino gives us an edge also regarding your other interface like Arduino MATLAB interface is there. So you can use your Arduino with it. Okay. Next is the Raspberry Pi. Here, the difference is between your, if you check around the stats here, the difference is more or less this 1.2 gigahertz, and here it operates at 60 megahertz. Okay, so there is a difference. There lies the difference. So if you want a high speed transfer of data without any interference, if you have a low project means simply if you want to detect whether a sound is there, whether a sound is there, you need to connect a sound sensor and connect it with Arduino, so that it can be done very easily. Sound sensor and Arduino, you connected, you will be getting your result. But if you want to know what is the actual sound, is whether it has some whether it has some language, whether it has a number, whether it is an alphabets, what actually it says. So you will be going to prefer at Raspberry Pi. Okay, so here what these things, this megahertz is and your gigahertz changes. It's the transfer of data. Okay, the sensors sense the data and sends it to the Arduino. These are the two boards of microcontroller, no doubt. But these Raspberry Pi has lot of space where it can store your data, and it can compare the signal with that stored data. Like if a sound has a matching of A or B or C, so it can sense, it can map it with with the input signal, and then it can say it. But Arduino does not support with that. Okay, you have to give extra memory or extra space, and then also there will be a lot of time also to give you the answer. So these two has a difference. Now here also there you can say that this Raspberry Pi is complete, has a memory of approximately a computer. Okay, computer, whatever a computer is there, that computer motherboard is there in I think in you can say in your 2008 or somewhere, that the computer when it comes. So this Raspberry Pi, that time computer, which has a motherboard, this Raspberry Pi is complete that motherboard of that computer. Okay, so you can say that. But Arduino, it's just a simple smart board, and it's I think it's localized for some areas. So there are other aspects also, like your this Raspberry Pi can have a wireless connectivity. Okay, you don't require any external wireless item. Like here in Arduino, you have to attach an external or Wi-Fi Wi-Fi device and connect it with that. Like e is a E0, sorry, E E0 EP01, that's Wi-Fi connectivity. So we will be discussing lot of sensors and lot of devices in the next lecture. But here I have just told, I will be more interested in telling you that this because these two are our common platforms, and Raspberry Pi are just an are, you might be knowing about an introduced way, but this is the difference. And then the next is the signal level. Also, if you talk about the signal level, which will be which also have a difference in your level of power. Okay, output power, you can say that the Arduino signal will be quite quite a weak signal, and Raspberry Pi will have a. I have personal experience with it because I have generated pulses. This is PWM pulses from Arduino and your Raspberry Pi both. So I have experienced that this Raspberry Pi, because of this gigahertz level, the pulses are quite arranged, and there is no lack or less distortion. But Arduino has some limitations with as the frequency of your output pulses. This pulses means I am talking about the MOSFET firing circuits. Okay, when you give a firing circuit firing to the MOSFET, this pulses comes. You need to generate pulses, and these pulses are generally controlled. These are generated by microcontrollers by programming it. Okay, so I had seen that this Raspberry Pi and Arduino, there is a difference like pulses. Now next is your, if you want a simple example, I'm telling you, if you want to have a closed loop path with Arduino and with Raspberry Pi, I know the complexity with Raspberry Pi will be more as compared to Arduino, but the work, you can say that the authenticated work, the work will be completely, it's will be very explained, very determined work will be there, and it will be very nice to have, because the signal will be coming, good signals will be coming. And regarding Arduino, there will be a sometime merit, but on the lower scale, you can say that Arduino is somewhat good. Okay, so there are other boards also that have good connectivity, but these boards like Wi-Fi Wi-Fi, it is a board that has good in your Wi-Fi connections. Okay, so if you don't want to use Bluetooth connectivity, or this, if you don't want, if you want to have especially a Wi-Fi connectivity, then you can use this thing. There is Samsung Arctic. Okay, these are the some of the solutions. These are voice sensors. This is your voice smart. Okay, so these are some of the board come, this Bluetooth devices come, your sensors or connectivity devices, you can better say. So this, in this slide, more or less will be more in our whole hands-on. I'll be preferring Arduino, and I'll be Arduino, because I would our area of concern will be sticking towards our electrical aspects, controlling of motor, using a MOSFETs. Okay, and how we can generate the signals, output signals. I'll be use more focused on Arduino, because it has a very small theoretical part, a very small, you can say that the easy adaptability with that software. But this Raspberry Pi, they you have to use an HDMI cable, and you have to use a separate screen for its operation. So there is a lot of complexity in Raspberry Pi. Okay, so we'll be focusing on Arduino. So next is the, what are the challenges of your IoT? So I have discussed about your applications of IoT. I have discussed on the IoT stacks which we have, how we can plan our basic structure of our IoT, then how we can use which microcontroller we can prefer for it, depending upon the signals and depending upon the space consumptions. So first is the connectivity. So I have, in the previous slide, you might have seen that some of the softwares or some of the microcontrollers are having your wireless connection, and wire, and the others have a wired connection. Just like an example, I will tell you that Arduino has a wired connection. You can't take out the signal of Arduino through wireless until unless you put any board, wireless board, that is EP01, I think. Okay, so if you there is a wire there is a blue Wi-Fi connectivity EP01 board is there, and you need to connect with it with the Arduino, then only you can get it. But in your Raspberry Pi there may be an inbuilt Wi-Fi system is there. So this connectivity issue is there. So which microcontroller you are going to use at a specified for a specified operation, you should know it. So if you can sense your data, you can send it to the microcontroller, but to obtain that data you need to have a connectivity. So this is one of the challenges, that which Wi-Fi connectivity which you require. On If you have choose the Wi-Fi connectivity also, like Wi-Fi connectivity also, then which connectivity you will prefer, whether you are going to use Bluetooth connectivity, whether you are going to use the Wi-Fi connectivity, or whether you are going to use wired connectivity. So it depends on your nature, that whether you want to give the signal to one of the individual, or whether you want to give the signal to a bunch of group. So this is one of your challenge. It depends on the nature of use of your data. Like if you want to use the data of your this bank account transactions, so this transaction you will be most able you will be preferred to have you either one or two person can see that transaction. You won't desire to give it to the publicize it. Okay, so that is the group way. So and in a similar way, if you want to use the data of your weather condition of your area, so that data is publicized in your large scale. So that is using your internet for upload for your one in one area, the weather station sensor, and publicize it onto the internet. But this your personal data must be to a limited person, so you only can able to say, no other person can say. That is one of the security or area also it comes. Next is the power. So what this power means, which power we are talking about. So there is one of the equipment that is operate that requires an external power supply. So if you just a simple example like your Arduino, if you want to have your agricultural aspects, if you want to have to know the moisture content of your soil, then you are going to use a soil sensors, and then you put that soil sensors. So that soil sensors have three wire. Okay, so one wire is your VCC, the other the two extreme wires are your VCC and your ground. So that two wires need this sensor will only operate if you give them a 5-volt supply. Okay, and your middle wire is your data line. So once you give that these two extreme wires 5-volt, then only this middle wire can be able to send the signal. So this is the power requirement of your signal. Okay, so power requirement of your sensor. So which type of power, how will you give that power requirement? So there will be places where it will be difficult to give the DC supply. There maybe there is a wetty areas, maybe there is a drone systems, and it goes high, and once it roam about, and once the battery gets discharged, then it needs to come back to recharge itself, and then again it can roam about. So this is one of the challenges, that battery requirement challenge. Okay, so because the most of the devices sensors will be on your outside areas, will not be in inside one. Okay, so it depends on the area. So if you want to transport something from one place to another, you can use a quadcopter. So for that, this battery must be filled. Once the battery level got tips to 25%, it needs to come back to the for the to the sender, and then so that it can recharge itself, and then it can go. So that there is an inbuilt function should be there, that battery or the power requirement must be preferred for that requirement. And if you have an in-house, or if you have an internal sensors that can sense it, so there you can provide an external supply, the external supplies that can give you that can give you power your devices. Similarly, in your security purpose, that a camera will work only when there will be a power supply to it. So there is lot of area where this theft is going on. The common problem is that they used to switch off the power supply, so they of this yeah, the theft area, that they used to switch off the power supply because they expect that the cameras will not work on that. But that also there is a secondary power supply for those cameras also. So this is a new way of thinking on that. Okay, so this one of the challenges is there. Next is the security. So this is one of the greatest challenges in this purpose. Security purpose is your simply a person is taking a class on a Zoom software, and it is transferring a data, and an unwanted person creating a nuisance in the class. So this is one of the security issue, that you don't want that unwanted person. You want to know that person. So that's why you might have these things happens in our initial days when we have started the Zoom classes. So right now, the thing is that this type of complaints are quite low right now, because we are now making it having a password. We are now sharing the link, and then this link can be going to a specified groups, and then so that group, from that group only we are able to know which persons are there. So now so the next is your complexity. Now, as you know, the way this sensors are there, and this there will be a lot of sensors can be connected to a single microcontroller. There can be your moisture or soil sensor. There can be your weather conditioning device. There can be a humidity sensor. There can be a temperature sensors. So a lot of sensors can be connected to single microcontroller. So it depends on the requirement, that which sense what is your requirement, and then according to your requirement there will be a solutions. So so it depends that whether you want to use one sensor and one board, or whether you can use multiple sensors with one board. Okay, so these is one of the challenges. It depends on the area where you have to use it. Like there is a lot of cameras are there. For the security purpose, there are number of cameras, and those number of cameras will send to data to one of the microcontroller, so that it can upload to the internet, or whether each camera will send the data to different microcontrollers, and it can upload the data. So that is the one of the challenges of your complexity. Okay, next is the rapid evolving. evolution, you can say that rapid evolution in this IoT is evolving very rapidly. Okay, depending on the area, uh, depending on the need of the person, depending on the way of thinking. So, from the agriculture aspects, to the health sector, to the need of the demand, like in COVID, this scenario, there must have a contactless interaction. So there is a, you might have seen the temperature sensor, infrared temperature sensor is there, that gun type. This sensors are there that can read the temperature. So it all depends on the all depends on the new challenges which we are facing, the human community is facing, and that makes the this area is more concerned about the advantages of IoT. Okay, there will be some of the innovations that have that are still on have a prototype, and I will be telling you some example. Now this is one of the example, and there's a restaurant, and it has a table, and this table has an can able to heat the food automatically, depending on the temperature, by sensing the temperature of the food in the can, in the plate or anything in the thing, or on that, and it can sense and it can automatically adjust itself to cook it, and that is what a touch screen cook pad is there. Now next is the, this is one of the Korean technology. Here it deals with your this is one of the mirror, and this mirror will tell you by seeing it, whatever there, whether there is your how you are looking, how whether you want a cream to apply it on your face, whether you want to have what you can say, this eyes eye brushes or anything like that. So it will be telling you every aspects, what whether you are getting too much, whether you are having fat or less fat, whether you want to trim your beard, whether you require to trim your beard. So this will be giving you each and every data which you don't know also, which you can't identify, because human eyes, as the age progresses, that human eye are not are the power goes down, but this mirror can identify and give you the data, and then it can give you the solution also, by if you connect it to the internet. Okay, so this is one of the feature of your one of the examples of IoT innovations. One, so the next innovation, or one of the example of your innovation is in your cars. Okay, the more you invest, the better innovation you will see in your car. So there is a brake sensors. Okay, brake sensors, then there is your radar sensors, then there will be your backup sensors. As you can see here, there is a camera regarding your front view, recording your rear view. Okay, so door sensors are there. There is a key sensor that can give you the data, give you locate, can be able to locate your car, whether it there is whether the person is standing in there or nearby, it can inform you. So this is in cars you have seen it. So there is a brake sensor. This is one of the best technologies, and it can be used in Kashmir, because if you are traveling from Jammu during from Srinagar to Jammu, there we have during a winter season, there a lot of, during the snowy road, there we have there is a tough, when it get tough when there is icy roads are there, and those icy road have two types of road. The ones that has very low friction, so that this car gets skid up in that road. Okay, so and they so it will be difficult. So this brake sensor senses the initial this condition of your um, this ice, and so that it actuates your braking systems and activates your braking systems, and there it can it can slowly take off, slowly work on, slowly move on that IC part. So these are some of your innovations in your cars. Okay, next is your then this is one of the technologies are blooming, that how you can park your car, and how you can take out your car in this during when there will be a very less space to park it. Okay, and self driving car is the best examples you would know. So I hope this IoT introduction part of IoT is cleared. So after this, we'll be going towards our sensors. So what type of sensors and what types of sensors are available in the market? So we'll be discussing on that. Okay. So till now, I think it's very a good session. I hope. If you have any problem, you can email me. You can contact me. It's not a big deal. Okay. Thank you.